Welcome back to another video, guys. Today we're talking about how many sets and repetitions you should be doing to suit your goal best. Now, the first thing you need to remember is it doesn't really matter whether you're trying to increase your strength or build muscle or tone up. You don't have to change what exercise you do for each goal. All you need to change is a number of sets and repetitions. For example, a powerlifter would incorporate barbell back squats into their training regime, as would a bodybuilder or somebody who wants to tone up or burn fat. What they do differently is the number of sets and reps. Now, typically, 1 to 5 repetitions is to build strength and power. And the reason why this number is so low is because the weight that they're lifting is so heavy that it only allows them to perform between 1 and 5 repetitions. If you look at a lot of Olympic powerlifters, they're not necessarily muscly or toned because their goal is to be able to lift as much weight as possible rather than look aesthetically pleasing. And the added benefit of having more body fat percentage is they're less likely to get injured when lifting all that weight. 6 to 12 repetitions is to build muscle, or you've probably heard of the anatomy term before, which is hypertrophy. Now, the way muscle builds is you lift a weight. If that weight is heavy enough, your muscle fibers tear and then rebuild themselves twice as big. So whether you're doing 5, 10 or 15 repetitions, if that weight is heavy enough to tear those muscle fibers, they're going to grow one way or another. And that is why bodybuilders like this rep range. However, it's another reason why a lot of people, particularly women, are put off by it. Now, many bodybuilders, particularly professional ones, will take drugs to make their muscles grow a lot bigger than their body's naturally capable of doing. And that is one reason why they look the way they do. The second is testosterone. So women, don't be put off by this rep range because you do not have the hormones to build muscle like a man would do. All that's going to happen is you will gain strength, which is a good thing. You will tone, which means to have muscle, and you will burn more calories maintaining that muscle, which ultimately means you can eat more calories, and who doesn't want that? And finally, 12 repetitions and over is that toning, endurance, and calorie burning zone. Purely because all of those repetitions puts a lot of stress on your muscles and your cardiovascular system, and therefore you burn more calories in the process. Now here's something you're probably not used to hearing, but cardio isn't always necessary for losing weight. If between eating healthily and lifting weights puts you in a calorie deficit, those two should be enough to lose weight and stay toned. In most cases that isn't enough, and that is why some form of cardio, whether it's interval or steady pace, is necessary. The added benefit is you will increase your fitness levels as well as losing weight and toning. Personally, I think a combination of the three is a perfect way of staying lean and having a fully functional physique. So now you know how many repetitions you need to do for each goal. How many sets should you do? Well, it's a little bit harder to explain because there are many factors that can affect how many sets you should do. Whether it's how long you have in the gym, how many exercises you're doing back to back, how many exercises you need to do, all of these things can have an effect on how many sets you should do. That being said, if you want to build strength, you want to do around 3 to 5 sets and have around 2 to 4 minutes rest in between exercise. If you want to build muscle, you want to do around 3 to 4 sets and have about a minute or 2 rest in between. And if you want to tone up and build up a bit of endurance, you want to do around 1 to 3 sets and have anywhere between none and a minute rest. It all depends if you're doing supersets, drop sets, and so on. Now you know how many sets and repetitions you need to be doing. It is important for you to remember that that alone won't be sufficient for you to reach your goal. There are more important factors you need to take into account. For example, time under tension. Make sure you actually stretch and squeeze that muscle rather than go for the motion for the sake of going through it. Make sure you're actually struggling for your last few repetitions rather than put the weight down knowing you could have done another 3 or 4. Use different type of training methods like supersets, giant sets, and drop sets, and make sure you have a good combination of compound and isolation exercises. All of these factors will have a far greater impact than just worrying about how many sets and reps you're doing. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.